What if you woke up one day and you turned on social media and you saw a deep fake artificial intelligence video that told you that the United States has been overthrown and there is a new government who is taking control? Would you believe the deep fake AI? Or would you try and contact the technology companies to remove the propaganda from online? Or would you do your best to tell people about the risks of deepfake artificial intelligence before an event like that were to happen? Hi, I am Olympia LePoint, host of Answers Unleashed and author of the Answers Unleashed book series. I am a professor and I specifically tell people about the research as well as politics around emerging technologies. And in this particular video, we're going to look at deep fake AI, deep fake artificial intelligence. Now, deepfake artificial intelligence is a new type of artificial intelligence that can threaten different type of democracies, and it can threaten human rights. And in the United States, it can threaten US civil rights. I am a person who is passionate about making sure people understand what their rights are and making sure that people stay safe. If you know anything about my background, I am a former rocket scientist. I helped launch 28 NASA Space Shuttle Missions into space, wrote the Answers Unleashed book series, and then later went on to teach as a mathematics professor. Now, you may ask, why did I go into artificial intelligence? And it's really simple. I remember going to my pastor and asking her about what I can do to help people in the future. And she asked me, have you ever considered about learning about artificial intelligence? At first, I didn't know anything about artificial intelligence. And so I told her, I really don't know much about artificial intelligence. And she told me, well, consider learning about it and tell me what you think. Well, that's what I did. Now I teach as a research methods and political science professor, and I share about the ethical concerns of new emerging technology of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a brand new type of technology that people are using, and in the right hands, it can bring innovation. But in the wrong hands, it can cause what we call deep fake AI. In this particular video, we're going to understand the dangers of the deep fake artificial intelligence. We're going to see a couple of things. Number one, how artificial intelligence works. Number two, we're going to understand the threats of artificial intelligence, deep fake artificial intelligence, to global democracies and the technology concerns related to that. Number three, we're going to look at the privacy and data concerns of your information and how your data is places that you may not know exist. And number four, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the both national, international, and California laws, as well as the laws across the globe dealing with artificial intelligence. And lastly, we're going to look at 10 different solutions to help us understand artificial intelligence and how we can make ourselves safe with new policies. I hope you enjoy this particular video. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel and watch more videos on the Answers Unleashed site. All right, I hope you enjoy this. The future of US civil rights and global democracies with AI technologies. Hi, I am Professor Olympia LePoint. This talk is for California State University Northridge faculty, university officials, students, leaders, and anyone is welcome to watch this video and share it. Welcome to artificial intelligence politics, known as technopolitics. Technopolitics, I like to call AI ethics. Before we get into the heart of this presentation, we're going to look at 3 quotes from leaders, and we're going to understand the risks of democracy's demise with artificial intelligence. And the first quote comes from Ian Bremmer, a political scientist from the TED Talk, "The Next Global Superpower Isn't Who You Think." And in that TED Talk, he says, When I was a student back in 1989 and the wall fell, the United States was the principal exporter of democracy in the world, not always successfully, often hypocritically, but number one nonetheless. Today, the United States has become the principal exporter of tools that destroy democracy. The technology leaders who create and control these tools, are they okay with that? Or are they going to do something about it? We need to know. The next quote comes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. And that was written from the Birmingham jail in 1963. And Steve Jobs said this: don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. We're here to put a dent in the universe. Otherwise, why else even be here? In this particular presentation, we're going to understand how AI works. We're going to understand the AI threats to democracy and technology concerns. We're going to also understand your data, ethical and privacy concerns. We're going to look at national, state, and global AI policies, as well as the 10 ways to keep people safe with AI. And we're going to look at some closing remarks. You may ask, what is artificial intelligence? So here's the answer. Artificial intelligence, AI, is the ability of machines to perform tasks that are typically associated with human intelligence, such as learning and problem solving. Artificial general intelligence, known as AGI, is a hypothetical future case defined by when an autonomous system surpasses a human's capabilities. So let's look at how artificial intelligence works. Artificial intelligence was first theorized in 1960 and it was applied in the 1980s. And then in 2019, Nobel Peace Prize winners found a way to create deep learning in artificial intelligence. And when the pandemic happened, it led to the way for video communication that fed into today's generative AI explosion. To give us a further background, in the 1980s, traditional AI was formed. Artificial intelligence looked at pictures and it tried to understand text and voice. Now, it first started on ATM machines, then it went to fax machines, then it later developed into GPS, and then it developed into self-driving cars. We have something called traditional AI and predictive AI. Predictive AI predicted weather, as well as helped to predict stock markets. And in 2019, 3 scientists won the Nobel Peace Prize Turing Award. And that was Yoshua Bengio, Jeffrey Hinton, and Yann LeCun. And they found mathematical probability approaches to process information in artificial intelligence so it could look at pictures, voice, and text together to create a story. When the pandemic happened in the 2020 through 2023 timeframes, that caused the explosion of Zoom, Skype, and video conferencing, where the data had to be processed in clouds and the data had to be rendered and converted for information. The companies that converted the information used clouds and graphics cards on the computers to be able to allow us to communicate from one place to the next with video. That led us to the artificial intelligence generative AI explosion that happened starting in February 2023. So why are people talking about it now? People are talking about it because people are the ones behind coding the artificial intelligence. It's not a computer running away with your information. It's people programming the computer to make decisions. And there's always an on and off switch. And the fact is, it's simply a tool. And in the right hands, it brings innovation, but in the wrong hands, it can cause harm. Technology companies like Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, Twitter, now known as X, are not the only companies creating artificial intelligence. Other companies, as well as humans, can generate what we call deep fake AI. That's a decision-making instructions to cause harm to people, organizations, and governments. So as of recently, April 5th, 2024, there is no US AI regulatory agency established yet to ensure no bad actors use AI to harm US citizens, destroy civil rights, or overthrow democratic governments with deepfake AI or other uses of AI algorithms. There's no international regulatory system yet. It is as important as nuclear weapons regulatory agencies. So you may be wondering how AI works. So this is the background. There's 4 parts to this AI background, and this comes from the Berkeley School of Information. Data is retrieved from a database. Sometimes the data represents the real world, sometimes it doesn't. Then a person creates an algorithm that goes into an AI program, artificial intelligence program. Then it applies it to a real life situation and makes a decision on it. And then it's applied to the real world where data is captured and it makes decisions in the real world. And then that information from those decisions is fed back into the data to go back into the algorithm to use on a specific situation and then in the world, and it's a circular motion. Here's the problem. If anywhere in this cycle, if the data is bad, if the algorithm is bad, if it's not applied correctly, or if it's applied in the real world and the real world doesn't look like the algorithm, you have bad AI. You have a bad feedback loop. So it's time to understand the threats to democracy and the technical concerns. I sat down and I really started researching, and what I found was shocking. And I want you to be prepared. What you're about to see is something very, very concerning. You may ask, what are the risks to US civil rights and global democracies? Well, I'm going to show you. Deepfake AI. Deepfake AI, short for deep learning, and fake is a generative AI type of technology that uses deep learning techniques and artificial intelligence to generate highly convincing fake or manipulated digital information or hacking codes. Generally, deepfake outputs have been seen in the form of video and images or audio recordings, but also deep fake AI can be hidden code that learns so it can produce harmful results. And we're going to see what that looks like. We recently saw in the news deep fakes, and it's a type of cloning. And we're going to look at the different type of deep fakes that are out. This type is cloning. That's when it takes people's personal information and it clones it. We saw President Joe Biden, his voice was cloned and it was sent out to voters, telling them not to vote. We saw Taylor Swift's image cloned on a nude body. It was deepfake images that was seen by over 49 million people on Twitter/X before it was taken down. These are concerning type of situations that send propaganda to people. People also affected has been the Pope, the Ukrainian President Zelensky, Carrie Lake, Scarlett Johansson, Drake, the Beatles, Weeknd, Taylor Swift, Emma Watson, Natalie Portman. Taylor Swift, Emma Watson, and Natalie Portman experienced pornographic media of themselves. So let's take a look at how this deepfake AI learns. The software is fed images, video, and voice clips of people. It learns through similar to facial recognition software. And this deepfake technology then applies itself to information, and it takes other clips, substituting one person for another, and then it recreates fully new clips based on fake information. But I want to also point out to you Deepfake AI can be fake infrastructure codes. Now, if you don't know, infrastructure codes are things that keep our cities running. Deepfake AI can be fake computer codes that destroy democracies. This includes hijacking existing local, state, and federal computer infrastructures, changing polling numbers, and wiping out electrical grids. AI learns from the pre-existing codes that are already in the system, and it hijacks it. And deepfakes also are searching through existing databases, emails, and government communications to give fake instructions. Deepfake technology learns and it embeds itself into existing computer codes and even antivirus software. Infiltration risks include the water supplies, encryptions, banking systems, traffic systems, city planning, electrical grids, electrical cars, driving self cars. The potential for deepfakes in the courtroom is also happening. Court evidence can be deep-faked. According to news agencies, bad actors are now using deepfake AI to alter the outcome of court decisions and judgments. And it's doing this through a series of not only creating false evidence, but altering the reports from certain judgments. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Deepfake AI also happens in educational material. Deepfake AI can also fake credible educational information. This includes hijacking existing educational products and placing inaccurate messaging in the modules. It learns from the materials and places false information and misleading information about events, people, and places in the text, image, or sound. There's also deepfake AI discrimination. And this is when deepfakes can also be used by hate groups and questionable public policy agencies to target groups of underrepresented socioeconomic vulnerable populations. And what it does is it takes your images and videos and audio and your information even from checkout stands and airports and uses it to harm people, especially women and people of color and the poor. And there's a risk for deep AI black codes 2.0. Now, if you don't know what black codes are codes that cause segregation. Deepfake AI can potentially reintroduce black codes placed into AI algorithms. These codes cause segregation. In the United States, black codes were laws passed at different periods to enforce racial segregation and curtail the power of Black voters. And these codes limited the 14th and 15th Amendment for people from the right to vote. Deepfake AI can also affect religious texts. Deepfake AI can potentially manipulate and alter religious texts and information seen online. The Bible, the Quran, and other texts are vulnerable for manipulation if not verified for accuracy. Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, all the other religions too are vulnerable. And we've seen this. Weaponization of religion is a real occurrence, and manipulation of religion in the pursuits of political power has been documented in history. Deepfake AI can also produce rogue commands. Now, deepfake AI can potentially cause autonomous systems to go rogue and harm humans. Theoretically, deep AI codes can reprogram any autonomous system, whether it be robots, drones, automated missile systems, even warheads in military operations. So how does it work? The bad actors manipulate the AI. What they use is they use an algorithm that will cause propaganda or use an algorithm that will be purposely misleading. The wrong output will be distributed at a very fast rate, and you will have an inability to check the accuracy of it. And then the organization that's creating the AI may instruct the coder to input bias, sexist, or other type of harmful information into the code so it affects humans. So who will turn AI off or adjust that AI algorithm when it makes bad decisions? The answer is we can. We can by understanding how AI is intended to work, by calling for transparency and international regulations, and by ensuring AI safeguards. So we're now going to look at your data, the ethical and privacy concerns. These are some factual situations that have occurred, and I want to bring note of these real life situations so you can understand and see how these particular processes work. Number one is there was deep fake information spread through schools where young girls were affected and they had pornographic images made of them. People use AI to create X-rated images of students. 5 California middle school students in Beverly Hills Unified School District were exploited with deepfake AI sexual images of them. A mother of the Beverly Vista student said many girls at the school were targeted, and that was per CBS News. A group of students superimposed the faces of their classmates on AI-generated photos of nude bodies. And this was per ABC7 News. Fairfax High School, Laguna Beach High School in California also were recently targeted within the last couple of days of making this video. Court evidence. Altered evidence in courts can be made through deepfake AI. According to NBC News, amid technical evolutions like OpenAI's recent release of text-to-video generative AI software, Sora, the potential for deepfakes in the courtroom has become not just plausible, but according to experts, likely. White paper cloning is already in circulation. The chances of someone abusing court reporting technology happening today is already happening. And experts in the news segment said to watch out for this. Courts across the globe in democratic societies can be affected. Legislation and regulations on digital evidence and court reporting aren't widely implemented yet. Retailers using AI try to predict theft on its customers. The Federal Trade Commission says Rite Aid technology falsely tagged customers, particularly women and people of color, as shoplifters. Rite Aid were banned from using AI for 5 years as a result. AI can target customers. According to the complaint, Rite Aid contracted with 2 companies to help create a database of images of individuals considered to be persons of interest because Rite Aid believed they engaged in or attempted to engage in criminal activity at one of its retail locations, along with their names and other information such as criminal background data. The company collected tens of thousands of images of individuals and even news stories, according to the complaint. And that was from the Federal Trade Commission report. Airports are using biometric scanners. New York Times reports that facial recognition software is being used at airports. AI-powered facial recognition technology is used for passengers' authentication, for check-in and boarding processes. Here's the problem. Overseas airports and US airports are using biometrics, and these biometrics can be sold. In the United States, major airlines have invested in facial recognition technology and government agencies in charge of aviation security. Overseas, a growing number of international airports are installing biometrics-enabled electronic gates and self-service kiosks at immigration and customs. It raises concern over who has your data and, more importantly, who's selling it. Black patients. Per NPR News, research showed that Black patients are more likely than white patients to have their pain dismissed and untreated. And this came from a landmark study in 2019 from the Journal of Science that found that AI was biased against Black patients. And at the same time, some AI models were able to correct for the issue by assigning higher pain value to Black patients. The fact is that there's racial bias in healthcare, and artificial intelligence can fuel racial bias in healthcare. And not all AI is equal. Some algorithms promote unequal medical care, while others close the gap. A lack of diversity in the data also occurs. When AI is trained by data that lacks diversity, it creates a bias in healthcare. It was found that AI favored wealthier patients, and it booked appointment times faster for white patients or people with premium insurance. And the lesson was that researchers learned that the machine learning algorithm had trained itself to see healthcare costs as a proxy for a patient's level of health, when in reality, it's reflective of the healthcare industry's inequitable investment in some patient populations over others. What was really disturbing is that facial recognition fails on dark skin tones. This is another type of study. This was done from the Berkeley School of Information. Facial recognition software used in services like biometric security at airports and on phones performs better on lighter skin tones and perform worse on darker skin tones. And then, and I'm going to add this, on darker skin tone females. Job recruiting also had discrimination. Studies showed that in the past, an Amazon job recruiting tool, which used data from prior applicants, only picked men for the job. You know why? It's because male names were in the database that they used prior. Since there were no females that were in the system, the job recruiting tool threw out women's resumes. And then what also we find out is that prison sentencing is longer for people of color when using AI. Algorithms used in the criminal justice system predict the likelihood of those convicted. And in this process, it was found that the algorithms that are used to predict how long someone should stay in jail was a longer time for people of color when compared to a white person who did the same offense. So the Berkeley School of Information found that these risk assessments are unreliable. Now, the Los Angeles Times reveals that AI flaws could make your next electric car also racist. Tesla recently announced the newest version of its self-driving car software following the software's role in a dozen reported collisions with emergency vehicles that were subject of an investigation of a federal probe. These collisions happened for a variety of reasons, and the artificial intelligence driving the car had underlying algorithms that cause certain cars with certain owners to react in unpredictable and catastrophic ways. And some technology experts are arguing that Tesla cars are more likely to run over Black pedestrians. And they are arguing that this could be a form of domestic terror that's violating traffic laws and ignoring laws that require the vehicle to stop for Black pedestrians that are in front of the vehicle. So that's what some technology experts are reporting. And here's the one from The Atlantic. The real AI weapons are drones, not nukes, per The Atlantic. The article states that Hollywood imagined that computers would launch a nuclear missile, but self-guided aircrafts are what's truly changing the nature of combat. The fact is, algorithms are controlling weapons. The idea of letting computer algorithms control lethal weapons unsettles many people, the article said. Programming machines to decide when to fire on which targets could have horrifying consequences. Now, I know what you're wondering. After reading and listening to that news, I know you're wondering, what are the AI policies? What are the AI policies in the nation? What are the AI policies in a state? What are they in the globe? So let's take a look at that. We're going to take a look at that now. In October 2023, United States President Joe Biden signed an executive order for safe AI. The executive order attempts to establish a new standard for AI and security, and it protects Americans' privacy and civil rights, and it promotes innovation and competition at the same time, and it looked to create a standard that other global democracies could follow. If we look at that Executive Order 14110 closer, we saw that the executive order directs over 50 federal entities to engage in more than 100 specific actions to implement the guidance set forth across 8 overarching policy areas. And the main elements of the executive order were safety and security, innovation and competition, worker support, consumer protection, privacy, federal use of AI, and international leadership. This is new. And I want to note, there is no regulatory agency established specifically for artificial intelligence in the United States as of yet. There is simply an executive order that works with the other governmental agencies to prevent civil rights discrimination and safety issues. And in March 2024, the European Union lawmakers reached a political agreement on the Artificial Intelligence Act. The act aims to establish a comprehensive legal framework on AI. And it is for Europe, and it's designed to go beyond Europe. It's a little bit more comprehensive than the United States executive order. In it, it identifies different levels of AI risk. And there's such thing as unacceptable risk, and that risk is banned. And there's such thing as high risk. That high risk AI must be registered with the European Union. Unacceptable risks were uses of AI to manipulate, deceive, or create subliminal techniques to exploit vulnerabilities of people that causes significant harm. The use of biometric data to categorize individuals based on their race, political origins, trade, or sexual orientation. And also the use of facial recognition databases through facial images from the internet or closed circuit television footage. So those particular uses of artificial intelligence have been banned. And the artificial intelligence that falls into the high risk, it must be registered. And there's 14 different elements to the compromise for the high risk AI. It has to look at these 14 different elements to ensure that the high risk AI is going to be watched. Now, California is one of the backyards of artificial intelligence innovation. In the big tech's backyard, California, we are also seeing new legislation and new proposed bills. California wants to be the artificial intelligence king of laws. State lawmakers are considering more than 30 AI-related bills across a wide range of topics, and they're very ambitious. And if passed, some of the rules would directly target workplace issues, while others would be broad enough to impact certain employers across the entire nation. And these laws may also appear in other states. Now, it's important to note, we have over 20 of the largest tech companies in California, from Meta, from Hewlett-Packard, eBay, Adobe, Cisco, Verifone, Intel, PayPal, Salesforce, Square, Apple, Experian, Workday, Oracle, Verifone. There are 20 of the largest AI tech companies in California. And what California is doing is creating the 5 most top AI proposed bills. And these bills, they're proposed. The first one is prohibiting algorithmic discrimination. The second is addressing employment replaced by AI. The third is requiring safety standards for large AI. The fourth is tracking digital replicas. And the fifth is regulating the use of AI by state agencies. Those are the top 5 bills that are proposed in California. Now, it's important to note, as of April 7th, 2024, there's states with laws regulating deepfakes. Virginia, Georgia, Washington, Wyoming, Hawaii, Minnesota are the states that are regulating deepfakes. States with proposed laws are Louisiana, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and California and New York are the states that allow people to sue the deepfakers in civil court. There are more democratic countries across the world who are being affected. As you can see by these flags, these are just some of the democratic societies across the globe that are dealing with how to make artificial intelligence safe for people. And this list is extensive, and it's just a few of the countries. So this is 10 ways to ensure AI safety. Now, I know that you may be wondering, what can you do? This list of 10 different ways is what I created to create a way for us to understand how to keep people safe with artificial intelligence. And so these are my 10 recommendations. 1, create a national and international AI regulatory agency. Just like there are nuclear agencies, make AI agencies in every nation. Number 2, make all AI have transparency labels. Make AI labels like the FDA lists food ingredients. Make AI algorithms visible by inspectors without technology company inference. Like the World Health Organization oversees health, have a World AI Organization for humanity and safety concerns. Create a U.S. constitutional amendment. Create a new U.S. constitutional amendment that all biometric data is owned by the individuals and not the state or technology organization. The next one is design a shutoff switch into all AI. Demand that all AI robotics have a mandatory shutoff before hurting, harming, or injuring human life or animal life. Ban all discriminatory AI and generate fines. Make AI illegal for using Black codes and Black segregation laws that may be associated and embedded in its data algorithms. And we can also, here's another suggestion, make a $10 million minimum per frame infraction for deepfake AI. We can create rights for individuals to sue tech companies and sponsor it through the US government and award $10 million per intellectual property theft and frame used. If the company does not adhere, the AI company is banned from the nation. Another approach is no AI manipulation of religious texts. Ban all religious text alterations. Make it illegal to alter, manipulate, or adjust original religious texts, writings, or depictions. And number 8, ban all AI from courts and legal decisions. Ban all AI from court documentation and in jail sentencing. Make it on the responsibility of the human judge and court reporters. And number 9, make AI fraud detectors for courts and individuals. Just like counterfeit dollar bill scanners detect fraud, there can be digital counterfeit scanners. And number 10, make it illegal to spread deepfake AI on social media platforms. Hold technology companies responsible and accountable, and for upholding federal laws and of the country where they operate. The closing remarks are, written by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this is his quote. All we say to America is, be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they hadn't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of the press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest for right. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I hope you have enjoyed this lecture. I am Olympia LePoint. I am the award-winning author of the Answers Unleashed book series and a CSUN professor. I am a professor of research methods and political science with a focus on artificial intelligence ethics within the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences. Thank you so much for watching this video. Share it with other people. And if you like this video, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.